Welcome to Unstuck, your ultimate AI-powered study companion. Imagine having a personal tutor that knows everything about your courses, available 24/7. That's Unstuck. Let's dive in and see how it can revolutionize your study experience. Unstuck brings together all of your study materials in one place. You can upload textbooks, notes, and even YouTube and lecture videos, ask questions using our AI chat interface, get answers with transparent referencing to your materials, interact with your content by clicking on these references, and you can view extracted graphs and visuals taken from your course material. Let me take you through some of the key features. Time to get started with Unstuck. So you're going to be able to create your account and log in with Gmail. This is the home screen where you can create new chats with Unstuck. And this is the main mode in which you're going to be able to interact with Unstuck to get help, generate notes, and much more that we're going to go into later. You can always access the home page by clicking the new chat button over here, or by clicking on Unstuck in the top left. And you're going to be able to create a new chat with all of the following features. So you can use recordings. You can click on this if you want to record your lectures whilst they're happening, and then you can generate notes from it, ask clarifying questions, and so much more. I find this feature really very useful when you're sat in a lecture and you just want everything made for you. Upload. Over here, using this tab, you are able to upload all of the files that you have. You can upload PDFs, PowerPoints, videos, or any file format. If the file format is not currently supported, then you can let the support team know and they're going to add it. Files, using this tab, you can easily find all of the files that you've already uploaded to Unstuck for fast and easy access. And then over here, we have classes. Classes are a really important feature and they're so powerful. So they are organized sets of material with which you can chat. And when you start a chat with a class, Unstuck uses all of the materials inside that class to provide answers, citing across your sources for higher accuracy and relevance. So you know everything that it's coming up with is spot on. Now over here we have the sidebar. This is where your past chats are. You can see that my classes are listed over here with some of the chats that I've had inside each of these classes. There is the classes page. You can click on my classes and you'll be shown all of the classes that you currently have inside Unstuck. There's also the My Files page, which contains all of the files that you have uploaded into Unstuck so far, again for quick and easy access. If at any point you need help, you can click on the Get Help button, you can join the Discord, or you can chat with our team 24/7 for support. Now you know about all of these amazing features, let's create your first chat. As mentioned before, chats are the main mode in which you can interact with Unstuck to get help, generate notes, and much more. So let's create our first chat. We're going to upload a document, and Unstuck is going to take this document and use it to generate a chat so that we can talk to our document and learn more about it. Once the file has uploaded to Unstuck, you'll see that it says that this is the file that you're chatting with, and you'll be able to create study notes, summarize the notes, and so much more, which we'll get into slightly later. But I'm also going to show you that you can upload other formats. So for example, you could upload a YouTube video. If you've already uploaded a certain file into Unstuck and you want to chat to it within this chat, you can also add resources from your already uploaded files. And when you click on this, you'll have the option to import any of the existing files that you have in your Unstuck profile. Now at the bottom here, you'll see that you have the files listed that are currently being chatted to in class. You can toggle these files on and off, meaning you'll be chatting with them or not chatting with them. You can also click on the three buttons over here, and that'll give you the option to delete, rename, or again, chat with this document. So we're currently chatting with both files. Let's summarize the first file, the PDF on labour markets. In creating this summary, Unstuck will go through all of the content contained within these notes, and it will pick out the key points, the most relevant bits of information. And this is how you know the notes are really accurate and super relevant to the things that you need to know. You can see that for economics and maths in particular, it will also be able to pick out diagrams and highlight these contained within the study notes. Now, as you're going through the study notes, you'll notice these little bubbles. These are references, and you can see the references in the sidebar over here. Or if you want to see exactly where these pieces of information came from in your notes, you can click on the little bubble, and then it will highlight the specific part of your notes from which the information came, allowing you to see the original context of this information. And you can do this for any of the references, and it will show you in these notes exactly where it came from. Going back to the chat, you can see that up here you have the option to rename the chat if needed. So I'm just going to call this Labour Markets. And you can also share your chats with your friends. So you can choose to share the chat either without the existing messages or with the existing messages, so they can interact with this chat that has the same files. You can copy this link and send it to all of your friends so that they can enjoy the benefits of Unstuck as well. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, one of Unstuck's main features is the ability to create classes. Let me take you through how to create and use these classes. Now I'm going to take you through classes. So classes are organised sets of materials that you can chat with, as I mentioned before. When you start a chat with a class, Unstuck will use all of the materials in it to provide answers, citing across all of the sources contained within this class for higher accuracy and relevance. Personally, I really like to use classes to store all of the information for the different topics in all of the subjects that I'm taking. I'll make the classes at the beginning of each year, and I'll try to keep it up to date with all of the materials that I need to get the best grades in those classes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a class. So over here in the sidebar, we have the My Classes button. We're going to click this and we're going to be taken to the classes page. Let's say I'm also going to be taking classes in chemistry this year. So I'm going to create a class, give it a name, chemistry, and assign it an emoji. I'm going to go for this one. Now we're going to create this class. You'll be taken to a new page about this class. You can see that we don't currently have any files uploaded, so let's change that. I'm going to upload a PDF to start with. And you can see that file is uploading over here. And I'm also going to add in a YouTube video. Just going to paste the link as we did before and click upload. Just like we did with chats, you can also share classes, so you can collaborate with your friends. Just click on the share button in the top right. You'll be able to copy the link and share it with all of your friends. When you start a chat with a class, you'll see that it will be pre-populated with all of the files that have been imported into that class, which makes this a great base from which to test all of your knowledge. So you can click again the toggles on and off to chat or to not chat with a certain document. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask the chat for notes. So we could create notes on all files, or we could create notes on a specific file. So for example, over here I have recorded a lecture and I want notes on this lecture. So as was before, notes will be created on the specific file contents with references that you can go through as you need. Now, importantly, you can see that this new chat called Trade Lecture Notes has appeared underneath the class in the sidebar, and this is really useful for finding all of the different chats that you have already created. Additionally, if you just click on a class name in the sidebar, for example, for biology, you have the option to either view the class or create a new chat with that class. I particularly love the fact that you can use the Unstuck to record your lectures. Let me show you how to do that. The ability to record a lecture directly in Unstuck means that you don't have to spend your time after a lecture making study notes or summarising what the professor said. Unstuck will do it for you. Now, let me show you how to record a lecture using Unstuck. So we're going to go back to this page, the home page, and we're going to go to the Record tab. Then you're going to be able to click record. And what this is going to do is that this is going to start a recording. You'll see we get a little bit of a countdown and then the recording begins. Whilst the recording is happening, do remember not to close out of the browser or the tab, otherwise you will lose the recording. But once the lecture has finished and you have ended the recording, you'll be taken to a page that looks a bit like this. You'll be able to give the lecture a title. So for example, this lecture might have been on protectionism. And then you'll be able to automatically assign it to a class. So this was for my economics class. And by doing this at this stage, it means that you then don't need to go back and reassign it to a class later on. It will be automatically put inside this class for you. And then just to aid with transcription, do select the language that the lecture was delivered in. You can see that this file has now uploaded and you'll be able to access it directly by clicking on the My Files button in the sidebar. This will take you to the files page where you can see we have the lecture right at the top here. You're going to click the tick box next to the name of the lecture, and then we're going to go over here and we are going to start a chat with this lecture. You can see that just as before, the file is stored over here. You can toggle it on and off, and then you also have the options to delete, rename and chat with it, just as I showed you before. Now, the major benefit of being able to record your lectures using Unstuck is that you can automatically get study notes created for you. So let's do that. Let's create a study note from the lecture content. You can see that we've now got a comprehensive study guide that covers everything that happened in the lecture, as well as some extra questions for you to consider, and these are great for building your revision moving forward after the lecture. Let's say a friend of yours missed the lecture or wasn't paying proper attention during it. You can share these study notes with them directly in the same way as we did before by clicking the share button at the top of the page. And once again, this will give you the option to share it either without the existing messages or with the existing messages. Just copy the link and share it with all of your friends. Just as a reminder, we did save this lecture to the economics class. So if we now go to the sidebar and click on View Class, the economics one, you should see that the lecture is the first thing in the files of this class, so it's easily accessible. Now you know all of the basics, let me show you how I use Unstuck to enhance my studying experience. If I feel like I don't fully understand a topic from a lecture, or I'm a little bit stuck on a certain concept or idea in one of my homework questions, then I like to use Unstuck to generate smart notes on this topic, and let me show you how I do that. So, for example, I might have been doing some chemistry. Let me start a new chat. In my homework, I came across the idea of covalent bonding, and I wasn't particularly sure how to understand it properly. So let me ask Unstuck. Unstuck will be able to generate comprehensive notes on covalent bonding, as it can do with any topic, and these notes will span all of the relevant materials that you've already uploaded into this class, as well as drawing upon some general knowledge. Another thing I often do is use Unstuck to help guide my exam preparation. So I have a midterm exam on trade coming up, and I want Unstuck to help me. So I'll just ask it to create a study guide for me on trade. You can see that Unstuck will take all of the files that I have already uploaded into this class, all of those materials that I had been learning from, and it will use them to create a tailored guide covering all of the crucial topics that I need to study for. I also find Unstuck to be immensely useful for when I have any questions on my homework. So let's say I have a bit of a maths homework on integration. We're going to start a new maths chat over here just by clicking on both the files because I want to be referencing both integration files, start a new chat, and then I can ask specific questions about my assignments, and I know that these answers will be completely accurate because they will be cited from across my source materials. You can see that Unstuck is immensely useful even for subjects like maths. It will use proper notation and it will give you the step-by-step method that you need rather than just showing you the answer. After uploading a lecture, I do love to use Unstuck to create a summary of this lecture. So I'm going to get it to summarise the key points from today's lecture on protectionism. We're going to enter that into the chat, and then I'm going to get a concise summary with timestamps for the most important moments of this lecture. Whenever I have a research project, I will use Unstuck to quickly find relevant information from across all of the materials that I have added into my class, and I find this perfect for compiling data for papers or presentations because everything will be referenced, as I've shown you previously. The last thing that I like to use Unstuck for, although there are many more ways that you can use Unstuck to enhance your studying, is concept clarification. So if I'm a little bit unsure on something that's come up in my notes or that's come up in a lecture, I'll use Unstuck to clear all my doubts. With Unstuck, you are never more than a question away from understanding your course material. Start exploring, start asking, and get unstuck today.